All right. So what I'm going to do real quick, I'm going to give you a brief heads up for what the next couple of weekends will look like, and then I'll go into my discussion in regards to small groups. Tomorrow night, there's going to be a meet and greet with the ministry volunteer leadership team headed by Reverend Belong. The purpose for that meeting tomorrow night is one, just to have a good old time with fellowship, food, and fun. But then also, in looking at how we've pivoted and shifted our services, mainly the fourth Sunday being where we do the Takeover Sunday. The goal is to not just have these generic, I got to go and serve on the fourth Sunday in the quote unquote big church. Yeah, I said the unforbidden, the forbidden word phrase, big church. I think a lot of young people, when we say it's that fourth Sunday, that's how they see it. Like, man, it's this massive ocean of adults that I've got to go and mingle with. Oh my God, I don't like it. And we're trying to break the barriers, where bridges are formed, relationships are established, and current and future leaders are developed. And so this meeting tomorrow night is one of many to come. And the goal is to have you all who are primary leaders lead the effort. And then as the young people come and as they begin to get involved in other forms of ministry, whether it's greeting, whether it's media, whether it's praise and worship, every aspect of what we do on a Sunday, we want to have as many of our young people involved with that. And you all get to be the bridges that they will literally be ushered into these ministries by. So yeah, tomorrow's night meeting, I'm highly encouraging all of you to please be in attendance. It's in person. We've actually canceled our Friday night youth Bible study call for this meeting. So we're hoping that the parents will bring their kids, they will come and be a part of that discussion, because we want our young people to get involved now. So by the time the summer is over, fall, winter, there's a system in place where our young people are in the flow. One. Two, we're actually working on a structure. I know we talked about this maybe about a year and a half ago, one of our Saturday night services during the pandemic. And behind the scenes, we've been working on what we call the Junior Deacon Program. And that Junior Deacon Program is an opportunity to raise up young leaders and get them involved early. If you're serving, if you're involved, if you're fully committed, you are eligible to be a deacon in the church. We're not waiting until you're grayed out and you're at the end of your rope and it was saying, now you're deacon worthy. No, Stephen was a young deacon, okay? He was serving in the food ministry. And this man, the Bible said, was full of wisdom and the Holy Ghost. He became the first martyr for the now what we call the church. So we're not waiting till young people become old and then we get them involved in the whole concept of being a deacon. And what is a deacon? Is simply a servant leader, okay? So we're working on that program. That SOP has already been developed, and so some of that conversation, you'll more than likely hear bits and pieces of it tomorrow night. We also have the Harvest Intercontinental Youth and Young Adult Leadership Academy that we've also developed. There's a lot of tons of great leadership resources will be offered to our young people, and you all get to have first dibs. You all get to even be a part of the development of it. So stay tuned as we begin to reach out to you one-on-one and get you connected. If you have not yet been paired up with a mentor, Deacon Gloria and her team are working on that diligently to make sure that everyone who has not gone through the MAF and needs to be paired up, they will be paired up to also be ready to serve and, also lead others in mentorship. So stay tuned. A lot of exciting things are happening behind the scenes in terms of that. But this Sunday, of course, we have our breakout Sunday. Last month, we had such a powerful time in the one that we did. And so it was a unanimous decision by this team. Many of you said, you know what, I think we need to do at least twice a month. And so here we go. We'll do our first one tomorrow, and then the following Sunday, we'll do another one. So every second and third Sunday is going to be that breakout. So what happens in terms of the flow of the service, we'll do praise and worship. Right after praise and worship, there will be a brief, short video summarizing the topic for the day. And then right after that, you'll be led into breakouts. Many of you remember where I don't know if SC was a part of a group or Tammy, but I think the rest of you, maybe it's just Andrea, I'm not sure, but the rest of you were a part of a breakout last month. I believe we're going to do the same rooms with the exception of maybe the college students, because I understand that there was a lot of distracting to happen. So what will probably happen, we'll have the college students come into that open area on the third floor. And then that, that the group that was out there, I believe it was the 9th and 10th graders, they will be put in a classroom. Now that school is closed, we got a little bit of luxury to utilize the classroom. So TBD in terms of, which classroom we're going to utilize. But just know that this Sunday, middle school will remain in Covenant Hall. 9th to 10th will be on the second floor. Moran, help me understand, or Stephanie, which group did you guys have? The 11th to 12th in the library?
Yeah, I think we had the 11th and 12th.
Okay. Yeah, so one like you guys will stay there, and then the 9th and 10th graders will be in a classroom on the second floor, and then the college students will be in the skybox area. So that's the only change that we're going to make. So that way we don't have any, each group can kind of be isolated. There'll be no disruptions or distractions with the groups. Okay, so that's what it is. Susie is developing some things for the conversation, so she's going to have that available as soon as possible for them. The discussion for this month, we continue the conversation on honoring, your parents, and of course, this month being Father's Day, in particular, we want to focus on honoring fathers, honoring us male authority period. Still, so discussion points will be available for everybody. Any questions about these things that I've shared before I say anything else? Any questions or comments? Feel free to just unmute and say, nope, I'm good, or yeah, I have a question, or put it in the chat. No questions, no questions, no questions? Okay. Feel free to ask one if you do have one, okay? So that's one aspect. Second, for the young adult leaders on this call, heads up. I know we had talked about Social Sunday. We've been talking about it, or Sunday Social. We've been talking about it, but we look like we're going to have a special guest in July. So ready or not, we better be ready to host it in July. Bishop and Lady Chris are going to be at the one in July. They're open to come. They're available to come. They're ready to come in July. So we're going to host one where we're going to have those, mainly for the college students that have come home for the break. We would like to meet with them. We'd like to have a good old time with them, have, an informal sit down and chat and talk and just check in. So you guys are the hosts of the party. QJ, SC, Tammy, Moran. Who else is on that team that is not here? I know we're missing Harold. I think he's the only one that's not here. You guys we need to get together and have a meeting to talk about that, okay? FYI. I know we're in retreat mode, and we're preparing for the retreat in July from the 1st to the 3rd, but I believe it's July 12th. It's that Sunday that Bishop and Lady Chris will be coming for the Sunday social. So let's plan to have a conversation around that, okay? Copy. Am I talking to myself?
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good. I'm sorry, I'm driving, so it's hard to.
Yeah, no, take time now. Don't drive and talk. It's okay. Just want to be clear, because I don't want us to get to July 11th and we're saying, we still have the plan. Like, we need to legit have a conversation around that. Look at budget. Look at what we need to do. I think it's proper to have that first one anyway in July, because then it kind of primes us for everything else for the rest of the year. And coming off the retreat, there'll probably be some energy and momentum there as well. Okay. All right. Welcome, Deacon Henry. How are you, sir? The man who has the cutest baby on the East Coast right now. We can't keep up with
What's up, fam?
That guy, I'm telling you, that guy is ready, man. He's Gerber certified.
All right.
Yeah, he's awesome. Thank you for bringing him to visit Uncle V today. So along those lines, also we have a summer camp for the youth this year. We've gone back to doing our summer camp. My God, I'm so excited about it. We've had very, very, very good outcomes, great outcomes from our previous camps over the years. And of course, about a year or so before, or two before the pandemic. We partnered with Camp Sunshine, and it was good for a second, and then things kind of went sideways when there was a change in leadership plus the pandemic. So we decided to take back our camp and turn it up to another level and put the harvest stamp on it. So we're kind of doing a lightweight version to it this year. It's only going to be 3 weeks. The 4 courses that will be off, really 3, and then of course athletics. But the 4 aspects of it will be dealing with leadership, development, worship, leadership, or praise and worship development, and media. And then of course we'll have like sports and activities at the end. But the goal of each of these modules is really just to fine tune certain areas of people's leadership capacity. Those of you that are worship leaders on this call, you lead worship in some form or fashion, I highly encourage you. These are sessions, 12 sessions with Pastor Gleddy for over a course of 3 weeks. You do not want to miss them. I promise you, your worship level will go to a whole different level. Okay. The camp is at cost, but we are offering scholarships for those that just can't afford the $175 that's going to cost for the 3 weeks. Okay, if you just can't, but you really want to be a part, see me. I was telling Henry the other day, I said, look, it's not about the money. I mean, of course, where you put money is where you place value. So it's not really about the money, but we do want to take care of some expenses. At the same time, we want you to take advantage of these programs. So from leadership development to worship leader development, I mean, all these things are very, very important for us as we go with the media piece. Man, you know how Henry and the team roll. The media team is just A1. Okay, we're going to be offering tips on videography, photography, social media, and we have a field trip planned for WGTS 91.9. That's just an outstanding Christian station. If I'm not mistaken, they're one of the best in the nation, if not the top 3 in the nation. We got a chance to meet with them, and incredible relationship. So, I'm too young. No, nobody's too young. You come and take advantage of this, I promise you will be impacted. Okay, but
you're the right.
Say that again. You're breaking up, Henry.
No, I was saying, don't think they're too young, because they're the right age. So there's no such thing as too young anymore.
Oh, I'm too young. Oh, I'm too old. No, there's no for me. Come and take advantage of these. I mean, we've seen some amazing things happen over the years, but I can't. So if you know any family members that need to take advantage of it, let them know this is where it's at. Okay? So I'm saying a lot because there's a lot happening this summer. We don't want anybody to miss out. Of course, the retreat is coming up, the young adult retreat. Don't miss that retreat. I keep saying this because I just have a feeling God is up to something awesome. Okay, if you cannot afford it, listen to Anna Mendel's testimony. It's only $125. Anna said to herself, Lord, if you want me to go to this retreat, you'll make a way. And she gave her testimony last night. And let's just say she's going to that retreat, paid in full. Somebody saw the need and met it without her even. Look, there's something about speaking out what you want to see happen. Okay. And so take advantage of it. Don't miss the retreat. Spread the word to other young adults. Let them know that, hey, there's something happening at Skycroft. If you've never been to Skycroft, it's a great place to hang out. It's a great place to fellowship. And it's the first, second, and then the third. And of course, we're going to that long weekend for July 4th. So let's go start some fireworks in Hagerstown. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Noah, who's a part of the team that managing that, and Tammy and Ashley and QJ and them, you guys, I believe we have a video recording tomorrow. So we're going to be doing some promo video stuff tomorrow, and then, hopefully flooding the internet, flooding social media with the content for this retreat over the next 2.5 weeks. Okay. If you have questions, feel free to ask it. If you don't have any, then we're all good. Sis Andrine, to answer your question about the 29th of July, I say it's a go for the young ladies. I know that I believe the women's ministry wanted to meet with the young adult women. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I say you got a green light on that. We're actually, for the young men, the young adult men, young men, we're meeting with the men's ministry the weekend of Father's Day. That's June the 18th. We're doing a follow-up breakfast like we did about a month or so ago, month and a half ago. So, gentlemen, let's be ready to come fellowship. And then, of course, I don't know if that's the same day that Sis Andrina and them are moving, but I believe there was a request to offer some help. So please, 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 if you can offer some time or any time to the belongs. They are moving from literally a mile apart from where they are to their new house. Congratulations on the purchase of the new home, by the way, to Sis Andrine and the family. But they need help. So as a team, if we can help in any way, please let's offer, whether it's 20 minutes to 10 minutes to 30 hours, however much you can offer. See Sis Andrine and let her know, and hopefully we can help in some way. Okay? All righty. I done got all these announcements out the way. I want to talk about successful small group strategies, if that's okay. We'll spend the next 30 minutes or so talking about this, and then hopefully we'll be done by 6:50, 6:55-ish. That's my goal. How many of you were here for the last meeting that we did in terms of small group strategies? By show of hands or unmuting yourself, let me know. Willie, you were here. Who else was here? Moran, you were here. Who else? Because I went through quite a bit the last meeting. Okay, so the rest of you, more than likely, were not here or whatever the case is. But I kind of want to, I'm not going to do a review as to what we went over per se, but I'm going to kind of touch a little bit of what we talked about last time, because I think it's important. Jesus did a lot of broad ministry. You know, if you recall this, the ministry, you know, with the fish and the loaves, or some of the other miracles that he did in the large crowds. He was very successful at what he did. But notice he had 12 disciples. Okay, at one point it said he had 70. Okay, he sent the 70 out and then went and did miracles. You know, at one point, you know, he was with the 12. All the time he's with the 12. And then, but he also had the 3. And then, of course, he had the 1 where John stood at that cross when everybody else had abandoned him, and John was given a responsibility to watch over his earthly mother. The point is, the most successful kind of ministry that we can offer to youth and young adults is small groups. And trust me, I'm a preacher. I love preaching. I love to expound on the word. We discovered a few weeks ago that Moran is a powerful preacher. I'm sure she loves to expound on the word. Many of you have been given the opportunity, Stephanie, and many of you, Willie, I've seen you do it before, Sis Sandrine. A lot of us, you know, we give an opportunity, we can go out there and by the grace of God, minister the word of God and do well at it. But I promise you, that's probably going to be as effective as maybe reaching 1 or 2 persons when you do the altar call. Versus when you do a small group, when we lead a small group, like we started doing with the young adults on Wednesday nights. And I mean, I've been having a ball. I don't know about you all that have been attending, but I've been enjoying myself thoroughly on Wednesday night. And I see so much potential in what it is that we're doing, because it gives you such an opportunity to really go into places that you normally won't get a chance to, you know, in a formal setting. How many of you agree? If you agree, raise your hand. Okay. It gives you such an opportunity to minister to people where they are. You know, you get to ask questions. You get to be asked questions. You get to go deep and go wide. And so for me, I really, really believe in the power of small groups. Okay. I can attest to the fact that it was 2 years when I rededicated my life to Christ in 2005. For 2 years, from 05 to 07, I was part of a 4-man small group. It was me, Brother Colin, Brother Sean, my brother-in-law, Picho, Lyric, and James Adeleke. It was maybe six of us. And we will meet every Wednesday night, and we will get into the word, and we will expound upon the word. And, you know, precept upon precept, I got to learn how to lead a small group. I got to learn how to do the things that you know, just got into the word, and accountability was formed. And I did that for 2 years. Listen to the transition. And then I moved to Tulsa in 2008. And, you know, this is practically a new church. Never been any, you know, didn't know anybody there. Never been there before. This, that, and the third. But got involved gradually. Started serving in the media ministry, serving with their video department, and, you know, doing some audio. And then eventually I got asked, like we're doing now. I got asked to lead a small group, a group of maybe 5 or 6 seniors in high school and juniors and freshmen. And I began to develop, you know, in that area of youth ministry. And all of a sudden I find myself almost 15 years later pastoring at this level, all out of small groups. The point that I'm making is you do not know how God will use these sessions that we lead and these small group opportunities to develop you into a viable leader. You just don't know. You don't know what you're playing with. So I'm saying that to say, one, be encouraged over the next several months, weeks, however long the Lord gives us the opportunity to do this. When you've been given an opportunity to attend a small group, don't miss it. Especially the fact that we're now doing it more and more in person. Like, I can't wait to get our youth back to Friday night in person. As a matter of fact, in July, we are doing one in-person youth Bible study just for the mere fact that I'm tired of this virtual stuff. I can't lay hands on a young person. I can't look them in the eye. I can't affirm them the way I want to, okay? I think it's important. So small groups go all day long. The most effective style of ministry for me, to be honest, I believe is small groups because we can do one-on-one. Now, if you can see the slide, it says here, Jesus lived out this strategy with his disciples in a more profound way. Mark chapter 3, verse 14 says, he appointed 12, designating them apostles, that they might be with him. Emphasis, ours. Being with Jesus was the first and most important goal for this renegade small group. Man, they were wild young adults. Y'all think y'all crazy. These dudes were known as men and women who turned the world upside down. That's why Bishop often says, like, don't wait until you're quote unquote old. When he started this ministry, he was in his mid to late 20s, like many of you maybe are. Okay? And this is an unbelievable invitation of Jesus. And he calls us to do ministry, the ministry of inviting kids to be with us, to do life. Look, small groups invite folks to do life with you. Okay? And really, they're not doing life with you. You're inviting them to do life with him in you. That's why I believe small groups are so powerful. When we meet on a Wednesday night, or we meet on a Friday, or we meet on a Sunday morning, and we break out, you're literally a vessel that Jesus, look at what happened between Eddie, right? Case in point, Eddie and little Reggie. I've been seeing Reggie for years in the larger population, and I've never heard or seen Reggie do some of the things that in that one small group session that they had, where Eddie was able to connect with him, speak with him, encourage him, and now Eddie has found someone he can relate to. Reggie has found someone he can relate to. That's how powerful to me small groups are, okay? The third point that we're making here is simply this. Small group ministry goes beyond the small group meeting. Let's say it again. Small group ministry goes beyond the small group meeting. It's not just about us meeting as a small group on a Sunday or on a Wednesday. The mission of a small group leader is to develop meaningful relationship with the students and to help shape them into the people God designed them to be. Small group leaders should look for ways, okay, be intentional, keep your eyes open, look for entry points, look for ways to foster spiritual discovery with their students beyond once a week. So I'm saying that when you meet with some of the young people this Sunday, I'm not going to be there, by the way. I'm going to be leading a panel discussion in the main service, okay? Well, when you meet with these students, okay, try to find an entry point. Try to find a way where you can say, you know what? If you don't mind, I'd like to call you during the week and pray with you to encourage you. Or if you need prayer, here's my number. Hit me up. We can talk about it. You will find that there is so much power in doing just that. Amen. Okay. So here's some things I want us to see, because I think these are very, very important when we talk about the principles and the goals of small groups. When we're doing these small groups, the principles and the goals are important. Point number one, guiding is more important than resolving. Let me stop before I read what's on the screen. I want to ask one or two of you, what does that mean? What do you understand that to be? Guiding, welcome, Susie. Guiding is more important than resolving. What does that mean to you? Somebody quickly answer if you dare. Guiding is more important than resolving.
When you oh, sorry.
You got it.
Nah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Abraham.
So guiding is better than resolving, or more important than resolving. Just simply means the guiding is more important. That they need like step by step solutions sometimes to understand, to make it practical, in a sense.
Mm.
It helps them better understand why they have to do what they have to do. A solution is just a solution, but they wouldn't understand why they have to do the solution. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I like what you said. You said step by step. I like that. Process is what I heard. Process. Don't just shoot me the answer. Show me the process. Excellent. Excellent. Henry?
Yeah, guiding is, guiding is discipleship, right? You're showing, like what Abraham said, you're showing the process. You're not just coming to solutions, because you're not always going to be there. So it's also a good sense of stewardship, right? You want to make sure that in your absence it can continue. You don't want to be in a situation where everything rests on you being there. Like, you have to be there for it to go well. If that's the case, then that's not responsible. It's not being responsible. So with guiding, you're discipling, you're showing, and yeah,
I like that.
you're teaching them how to come to the solution by themselves without you doing it, for them.
Yeah, that's powerful. That's powerful. Jesus says, "Seek ye first the kingdom." He could have just showed you the kingdom, but he said, "No, you seek it. I'm not gonna seek it for you. You seek it, and in so seeking, you will then see all these things that you've been looking for being added unto you." So it's important to guide more than it is to try to resolve. And so, really, what we're saying here is, as a small group leader, it's very tempting to try to resolve issues, right? Like, you always want to just give somebody the answer. Oh, you got an issue with masturbation? Oh, I got the answer for you. You got an issue with drug addiction? Oh, I got the answer for you. It's tempting to try to resolve issues or answer questions for the students, but it is more effective to guide them in their own spiritual growth. I just had a conversation with a mother about maybe 10 minutes ago. 10 minutes ago. And she was crying on the phone, bawling. And I told her, I said, "Mommy, I don't care how much you cry. This is your son's testimony. He has to come to his very own conclusion. You can't come there for him. You can't get him there. This is something that he will have to discover on his own." Go ahead, QJ.
Yeah, no, you kind of said it, but I was gonna say, like, I think, like, what I'm hearing also is that sometimes it's more important, I think, to be there for people and hear what they're going through and sit with them and, like, just have someone that will listen to you, as a, like, because sometimes you don't have the solution. Like, sometimes it's that you want to give a solution and then that won't be helpful because then the person can't arrive at that on their own. But sometimes you genuinely don't have the solution to somebody's problem. So I think sometimes it's more important that you just be there with them through to walk through whatever it is that they're going through.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of the stuff that will bring you away, I promise you don't have the answer to it. Yeah. The stuff these young people are going through, the stuff we all going through, but the stuff they're experiencing, sometimes I sit back and then my mouth just drops, like, Lord, what do we do with this? And the truth is, like QJ said, which I think is very spot on, just being an ear. Some of these kids or young people that you're going to encounter, they don't have someone to talk to. And being that we come from a culture where sometimes kids feel so marginalized and shut down, like, my mama won't even understand, so therefore I'm not even bringing it to her. So I'm going to suffer in silence. Just the fact that you're there to be an ear, I'm talking about this Sunday. I am not talking about some far long future. I'm talking about this Sunday. You'll get in a group and somebody will pull you to the side, be like, "Can I share this with you?" The topic itself is provoking enough to where you're gonna hear some stuff. And just sometimes being an ear, okay, giving them your attention, allowing them to process things, waiting for them to come to the conclusion. And if they so ask you, then you respond, is the best way to go about it. And I like how we say it says, don't feel like you have to have everything wrapped up at the end of each meeting. There's no, look, the last meeting with Dick, QJ, you were up there. I don't know who else is in that college session. My goodness, I had to beg the young man. I said, "Please don't take me where we are going. because he had looked like he had been wanting to share this stuff for a while. QJ, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, sure do. It was a lot going on.
Oh my God, it was loaded. I mean, I didn't want to cry, scream, get angry. I mean, it was just a lot of emotions in the room. So, you know, when you hear this kind of stuff, at the end of the day, we're not trying to get to the end of the questions that are provided. We just want to start a conversation that hopefully will go beyond the small group session, okay? So the thinking that happens between meetings can produce the most growth. Bishop last week talked about maturity. He talked about growing up. Growing up is a process. And you and I can make nobody reach maturity in Christ. It is Christ himself who has introduced the concept of growth in the process. So, hey, what we're here to do is just guide them rather than try to be their solution to their problem, if that makes sense. Okay? Point number two. Questions are more important than answers. Let me repeat. Questions are more important than answers. I'm gonna ask at least one or two of you to touch that. What do you think? Or is that true? If that's true, why do you think it's true? Questions are more important than answers. Anybody want to speak on that? Touch that up.
Answers are not always across the board. So some things have to be individualized. So you have to be careful because everybody doesn't fit the same scenario or the same mode. But if you ask a question, you provoke people and you engage people to actually respond.
I like that. There's no template or solution. Hey. What worked for me in 1995 would not work for this youngin' in 2025. It might be the same scenario. It might be the same issue, but it's two different worlds, two different individuals. God didn't make us all the same. Each of us here have a different set of prints. And the way I may see an issue, I might respond to an issue is not necessarily how somebody else would do. So don't take, and to be honest, we tend to do that a lot, right? Now I've done it before where I try to throw my answer on your question. You might be saying, okay, because you're a pastor, I respect that, but bro, you're not in my shoes, and you're right. I'm not in your shoes. I don't get it. I may think I get it, but I know who does get it. His name is Jesus. So like Stephanie said, I think asking the questions helps to narrow it down to your experience or to that young person's experience or to that student's experience to where now you know how to go back and pray and say, Lord, the stuff this child telling me, I know I ain't got the answer, but you got it. And I'm leaving it in your hands, okay? Leaving it in my hands, okay?
Can I add something just a little bit to that?
Sure.
Sure. Let me just give a vivid example of that. When we went to high school, we never had to ever in our minds think somebody was going to come into school and shoot up the school. Active shooters was not something that we can even connect with. And so one of the things that we have to be very conscious of is how does that work with our generation now? Their mental state of mind when they're going to school and being forced to learn, but they also in the back of their mind have to be prepared that if somebody walks in with a shotgun, they need to protect themselves or they need to help protect their classmates and their teachers.
You never said the truth like you did just now, sis. Matter of fact, we were so fortunate back then that, some of the trouble that we caused, we would have probably been considered the rebels of today's timeline. And I know it wasn't as bad as some of the stuff that's happening now. It doesn't make sense. I like what QJ said. You can't get to the answers without the questions. Okay, what they're dealing with, what they dealt with for a pandemic for 2 years, being behind a screen, the mental health crisis. The reason why many young adults now are just straight quitting and going out here and acting a fool and, goes to elementary school and shoots up 18 plus people, killing children. I mean, there's some questions that require some real answers, and that answer comes from the Lord. But we got to ask the right questions. And so really, questions unlock secrets. Okay, many secrets. Young people have many things. They come to church and look, so, hi, uncle this, auntie that, sister this, brother that. but they're dealing with demons in their closets, problems at home. Questions you ask this weekend will unlock secrets and dreams that lay hidden in the heart. That's what makes them so powerful. Through his questions, Jesus inspired people to receive healing they didn't know they needed. He often would ask, "What do you want me to do for you?" Now he's God. He knew what they needed, but he could, because of the law that he put into our world, he couldn't force his answer on you, even if you wanted to. He gave you what is called free will, the freedom to choose. And when you ask the right questions, when people begin to provide their own answers in a sense, or by begin to say, "Hey, this is what I'm dealing with," then it's an open invitation to confront the struggles they didn't know that they had, or to expose the secrets they didn't know they kept. Okay? And he invites us to the same kind of ministry. The ministry of asking good questions. Let me say it that way. Good questions will guide, it will invite, it will reveal, it will open us up to where the real problems are. Not this superficial, God is good all the time, God is good. No, we know God is good all the time, but you're not good. Your mind is twisted. You understand what I'm saying? Okay? Now, bad questions direct, threaten, intimidate, and they ultimately have the opposite effect. When you ask bad questions, when you ask these weird questions that somehow puts the person in a weird position, okay, it has the opposite effect. In the context of a small group meeting, a bad question causes a kid to feel unsafe. And so what I like about these small groups, even the ones that we started last month and we're continuing now, it really, the goal is to create a safe place, a safe space where some things can be, divulged, and they don't feel like, "Oh my God, this auntie is going to go and tell my mama, and then I'm really going to be done for tonight." You have to present it in such a way where they feel safe. Okay? To think there's only one right answer, or to believe they are required to offer an answer they are not ready to give you, is a means of creating an unsafe place. But why? But why did you do that? And why did you do that? No, bro, you're not here to interrogate nobody. Let them talk, please. And I'll be the first one to tell you I'm a preacher, so it's easy for me to start talking. I have to sometimes tell myself, quiet, listen, let them talk. Don't take the place, take over the conversation, let them speak. So these small groups are opportunities for them to speak more than for you to speak. Is that clear? Very important. Okay. Be willing to revise or delete questions when necessary. So even if you get a guide and that guide, you notice that this question may not be it, don't be so hard pressed to finish the guide that you missed the opportunity to guide them, like we said a minute ago. Take great thoughts and care in deciding which questions to include in your small group. So even as Susie's creating the guide and the questions to kind of lead, really these are just these are starters for a conversation. The goal is to really have a conversation, and no better way can you have a conversation than when you start to ask questions and hopefully get to answers. And sometimes you'll find they themselves will come to the conclusion without you telling them this is the conclusion. Okay, which brings me to my third and final point for now. We'll stop on this one, and then pick up the rest next week. Youth and young adults, well, let me say the topic. Listening is more important than talking. I just said it a minute ago. Listening is more important than talking. Youth and young adults don't need another adult. If you're a young adult on here, you probably can't relate, telling them what to do. Hello, is that true? Put it in the chat if it's true, or mute yourself if it's true. You don't need another adult telling you what to do. I'm waiting. They have plenty of those people in their lives already. They have mothers, they have fathers, they have uncles, you have aunties. So you don't need somebody else to come and drill you down to the ground. You shouldn't be da-da-da, and you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't. I heard somebody tell me, I did a training one year with the DC Youth Association, getting the certification for youth leadership. And he said something that was so profound. He said, the reason why we are called human beings is because we're humans doing. So what do you mean by that, bro? Whenever you tell somebody, don't do this, you'll notice there's a resistance because they're meant to be and not meant to not do, in essence. Okay. Naturally, our natural inclination is to do, is to be. And so even when it's a young person, you know that young people have full of life, they're full of vibrancy, they're ready to go and take over the world. And they hear you go tell them, don't do that, don't do that, don't. You can't, no. Don't tell them what not to do. Guide them on as to where they should go and what they should do. And that comes by listening well and not talking as much. Okay. What they need is someone who will listen, and that's a job description you can fulfill. Here's an acrostic that may be helpful in improving you and my listening skills. Listen slowly. Take time to listen beneath and beyond the spoken words. Invite. Use questions and allow periods of silence to leave room for students to talk. Focus. Try not to be distracted. But if you are, schedule a time to talk with that student later. Embrace. Accept what students share. Ooh, that's a tough one too. Even if you disapprove or feel uncomfortable, remember that students are always testing the waters for what is safe to share. They're always. I've been doing this now for a decade. They are always, some of you on this call, I've dealt with you that way, always testing to see, will this person, is this person, can that person be someone who I can open up to without feeling like I'm being betrayed, without feeling like, oh my God, what is this? Okay. The safer you make it, the more they'll share. And the opposite is also true. With these principles in mind, let's look at 5 goals to consider when you have your small group meeting. And I'm going to stop right there because this training we're going to be dealing with this for the next at least two sessions. But I really wanted to get to this point where, as we get ready for this Sunday, or we get ready for any small groups that we have, even if you're having a small group or you're leading a conversation, these are tools that will make your group very successful. I'll stop right there. Any questions or comments? You have about 5 minutes or so. Dylan, I see you crept up in here. Any comments from you all concerning this upcoming Sunday, based on what we've heard? Anything you want to add to it? Any thoughts? Susan, we haven't heard from you. Dylan, we haven't heard from you. Noah, Tammy.
No questions.
I apologize. I'm still at work, but I've been listening. I don't have any comments right now.
All right.
No comments.
So I do have one question. How many of you are going to be available for this Sunday's breakout, or for the breakouts period? This is something that you can say I'll be committed to doing, because I know some of you are serving praise and worship leaders and other, in the main service. Who's committing themselves to this Sunday and the next Sunday to being a part of the small groups?
I can be there after like praise and worship. Usually, yeah, I can leave after that. Hello?
Yep, we got you.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you.
Sorry, just checking.
Good, thank you. Anybody else? Other than those who have led the, well, let me ask this question. Those of you that led the last time, are you open to lead this upcoming Sunday as well?
Yes.
Thank you, Stephanie. Moran, are you available to lead? I committed this Sunday, but I can't next Sunday. Okay, thank you. Susie, you're good to lead this Sunday?
Yes, sir. I'll be there.
Okay. All right. Okay. For the rest of you wonderful people, it would be great if you could definitely be a part of those. Like I said, these opportunities come twice a month. So if it's not every Sunday, every one of those second and third Sundays, at least once or twice would be great. If you can, please. You know, one of the things I've seen in the past where we've had great success and great failure is when you have people who you can relate to. One of the reasons why I'm really leaning towards this structure, because I believe this group is probably the most relatable group of leaders we've had when it comes to our young people in a long time. And so we're highly dependent upon you all to, one, grow in the opportunity to disciple others. Okay. What I love about Jesus, he made it real simple and real plain. He said, go into all the world and make disciples. He said nothing about making converts. He said, go into all the world and make disciples. Of course, you only make a disciple of a convert, but the goal is discipleship. And that's something that we're really, 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 really giving our focus to this year. Okay. With the whole road to discipleship, our MAF system, all these things are very important because we're in a time where, man, so many people are being misled and so many people are confused. And they're just coming to quote unquote church rather than being discipled. And we as a team, our commitment is to disciple young people, bring them to the place where they can make their conclusion and they can do likewise. So highly encourage you to be a part of this Sunday, the upcoming Sunday. We do this twice a month. Highly encourage you for the young adult side of things to attend the Wednesday night sessions, okay, leading up into the retreat. And of course, the Friday nights as well. You all that have been involved with that for the youth side, it's just been incredible. And then if you are like on the advisory side, man, take those people that are under you, that are connected to you, and spend time with them. I mean, I'll just put Henry out there real quick for the sake of it because he's excellent at doing this. You know, he invited us over his house a couple of weeks ago. Invited those of you that were on the communication side of thing. And man, we had a grand time in fellowship. It's great. You know, getting together, talking, doing life. For me, discipleship is just doing life, y'all. It's nothing complicated. It's doing life and serving one another, doing life, and being someone that somebody can lean on when they're in their time of trouble. Okay. But I appreciate it. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your effort. This is my hard stop. I'm preparing for this next conversation that is coming up.